Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sari and you are watching my knitting podcast videos. And if you are new to my channel, I'm a knitwear designer from Finland. I work for the Finnish young company called Novita, and I'm also an indie designer in my free time. I publish patterns on Ravelry, and when I sit, I knit, and sometimes when I stand, I knit, and sometimes even when I walk, I knit. But knitting is a big part of my life, and I've been making these podcast videos for a bit over 2 years now, and sometimes more often, sometimes less often. For the past few weeks, I've been making these every week because I know there are many people who are alone at their homes at the moment because of the coronavirus pandemic situation, and at least I know I kind of miss my knitting friends and I miss the social aspect of knitting, so that's why I'm making these videos more often to keep you company, and also that I get to talk about knitting, even though at the moment it's like I'm sitting here alone and talking to myself, but at least I get to share what I'm knitting and talk about knitting with somebody, even though it's for an empty room with 2 cats and a video camera. But anyway, I don't know what I don't really have any plan for today. Usually I kind of like think beforehand what I'm going to talk, but my husband asked me what are you going to talk today, and I said I have no plans. I'm just going to share what I'm knitting with my followers. At least I don't have the mental capacity to think about anything deep to say at this moment, and I think most of you just want to hear what I'm knitting and not talk about anything more serious in this episode. I've noticed that I've kind of lost my knitting mojo a bit during these past few weeks. It's been so overwhelming with all the news and changes to our daily life. If you haven't watched my previous episodes, the coronavirus situation isn't that bad in Finland yet, but we still have quite a lot of restrictions. We are not homebound, so that the government says that we can't go outside, but we are recommended to stay home as much as possible. So I've been working from home for the past 2 weeks, and I have a 4-year-old son, so he hasn't been to the daycare for that time either. My husband has had to travel for work, so it's been just me and our son alone together for the past few weeks, except for the weekends. And my husband was supposed to go on a business trip tomorrow, which is Monday, but luckily that got cancelled, so he's also working from home for the time being. So it's quite challenging to manage a full-time job, trying to work 8 hours a day and keep company for a 4-year-old at the same time, and he can't go and see any friends, so I'm kind of his only friend at the moment, so I have to keep him busy and happy, and so it's a bit tough, but at least we are still healthy, and we are allowed to go outside, so we have been taking long walks and bike trips and going to park and the nearby forests as much as possible. So I think that is really good. But I noticed that in the evenings I'm quite tired, and all the news news feeds are so full of stuff, and I noticed that I'm really easily distracted at the moment because of everything that is happening. I don't really feel like that I'm stressed out because of the situation, but you can notice it in the small things, like I said, I'm really easily distracted. I have a hard time concentrating on anything. It's not easy for me to fall asleep in the evenings, so I'm quite tired because of that. It feels like I'm like when I should go to sleep, I feel like I have too much energy and my thoughts are racing, and so it's hard to fall asleep. So it's those little things that I notice that everything is not normal, even though I'm trying to keep on doing everything quite as normal as usually. And like I said, I kind of feel like I have lost my knitting mojo. I haven't really enjoyed any project that I've been making. Like, you know the feeling when you find something that you really enjoy knitting and it's taking everything over, and you can't stop and you can put it down. That hasn't felt like that for me. It has felt knitting has felt like a job for me, which is something new. It doesn't usually feel, even though it's my full-time job, it usually doesn't feel like it's a job. And I usually really enjoy knitting, and it relaxes me. But for the past few weeks, I haven't really found the joy of knitting. So it's been like kind of like mechanical knitting, like kind of I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to finish this, I have to knit this one, and none of my knitted projects have really brought me any joy. And often in the evenings I notice that I'm just sitting and holding my knitting and staring at the TV or staring outside, or just holding my knitting and with the other hand scrolling on my phone, either on Instagram or the news channels. And I've been really unproductive lately. So in those things that I noticed that everything is not quite normal, and yeah. So, but like I said, we are lucky in the sense that we are still healthy. All our family members are healthy. All my friends are healthy. To be quite honest, I don't know anybody who has got virus. So all my work friends are healthy and so on. So that's something that I'm really grateful about. So that's what's happening here. Yesterday I took part in my first Instagram live. I joined the Mayak Instagram live yesterday night, and I was really nervous about it at first because it was my first live chat, and it went really well. So at the end of my previous YouTube episode, I said that I might be making a YouTube live or an Instagram live. I was going to make it this weekend, but because of the Mayak Instagram live, I decided to postpone. So I think next weekend I will have an Instagram live. And I can show you what I've been working on, and then I'll show you the new Nobita magazine that I talked about in my previous episode. I'll show you what I've been designing for that one. And at the end of the video, I will announce the winner of the Making Stories magazine. I had a giveaway in collaboration with Making Stories magazine because my unfolding shawl pattern is in the issue 3 of the Making Stories magazine, so I got one extra copy of the magazine to give away, and I have a winner now, and I will announce it at the end of the video. I'll show you first what I'm knitting at the moment. So this is the Nuppu pullover from Novita Spring magazine, and the pattern is now freely available on Novita Knit's website. I will link it below this video. And I started this kind of like unofficial knit along because I know quite many people were asking about this pattern, and since I'm making it, I'd like some company. So the pattern is from the Novita Spring magazine. So this is the yarn company that I'm working for. It's a Finnish over 90-year-old company, and most of the yarns are spun in Finland, and it's a family-owned company. A fourth generation of the family is running the mill, and it's the oldest and largest yarn spinning company in the Nordic countries. A little history for you over there. And I started working for them a year ago in January. I'm a knitwear designer for them, and this is the Nuppu pattern. So it's quite a simple pullover. There's like just a stockinette stitch over the body and more stitch on the sleeves, and it has a slightly higher neck that is folded double, and at the end you can embroider some flowers on top of the pullover. So this is one of my favorite designs, and my favorite design from this magazine. So I wanted to make one for myself, and I'm using Novita Natura for this one, and it is 100% wool yarn, and it has 100 meters on a 50 gram skein, and it's Aran weight. It's a non-superwash yarn, so it felts, and it's a really nice woolly, soft, loosely spun yarn. So what I'm doing now, I have finished the bottom ribbing and just started making the stockinette stitch part, and there's a Ravelry group for the unofficial call. I promised that I'll have some prizes at the end of the knit along. I don't know yet what those prizes are, but I'll come up with something great. And what else? I'm starting another knit along. So the Nuppu knit along will run until end of May, or if it takes longer for me to finish the pullover, then I'll push the deadline. But 2 days ago on Friday I released the Celeste pullover pattern. So this is the Celeste pattern. I was wearing it in my previous video if you want to have a look. Here. And this is knitted with my Baby Yak medium, and the colorway is called Mustard, and the pattern was released on Friday, and it has been very well received. So many people have sent me messages about it, and I'm really happy. This is one of my favorite designs ever, and I love wearing this pullover. The yarn is amazing, and Maya is having a 10% discount on the yarn. So if you use the code Celeste10 at the checkout, then you get the 10% discount for the yarn. And they are also having an free international shipping for their yarns at the moment. So if you want to get the yarn, now it's a good time because of the discount. I'm also having a -20% discount on all my self-published patterns until the end of April, because I want to provide you with some like mindful crafting and relaxing pastime during these challenging times. So you don't need any code for that. If you put my self-published patterns in your basket on Ravelry, the price will automatically be calculated at the checkout. So yeah, that's that. But I was going to say that I'm starting a Celeste knit along. Started next week in my Ravelry group, and there's going to be a Ravelry group thread for the pattern, and Mayak has promised a prize for the cull winners, and I'll try to come up with something else also. And I think I will do the same thing as I did with the Iris hat knit along last year, that I will pick one winner every week from the Celeste pullover hashtag on Instagram, and they will get 2 free patterns from my Ravelry store. So it's worth taking part in the knit along and sharing photos. And I was thinking about starting another Celeste pullover for me, because I really enjoyed making the pattern, and I think it's so pretty. So I was thinking about making a black Celeste for myself. So that knit along will run until midsummer, and so you have plenty of time, more than 2.5 months to finish your Celeste pullover. Yeah. I have 3 patterns coming out next week. They are all quite small patterns. Oops. So this is the Pupu Scrunchie. It's being tested at the moment. Many of my test knitters have already finished their scrunchies. And this is made in 2 parts. So there's the hairband that you can use without the bow, and then there's the separate bow that you can tie with a knot around the headband for these little bunny ears. And I'm calling it Pupu, which means like a bunny rabbit in Finnish, because of the bunny ears. And so this is coming next week, and I made it using leftovers from my Bisbis beret. And these are knitting for Olive's Merino and Soft Silk Mohair, and they're both in colorway Rust. And also the easy headband. I've shown this to you sorry already a few times here on my YouTube channel. So this is also coming next week. I've been using this quite a lot during the past week. Like I said, we've been walking outside quite a lot, so this has been my go-to headwear for the past few weeks. So this pattern is also coming next week. And lastly, the Laura socks. They are also coming at the end of next week. So this pattern is already out in Finnish, and now the pattern will also come out in English. And they are knitted in Wool Me Once fibres. The yarn is a gold glitter sock, so it has a slight gold glitter yarn. There's like gold still in a thread of gold still. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but it's very subtle glitter. And the colorway I used for these is called Rose Gold. So this pattern is coming also next week. So those 3 patterns are coming. And after that, I will have the Our pullover coming very soon, and also the kids hat and the kids cowl. they are the next ones to come, and after that there's Rauha pullover and ballerina socks, and lastly the florist cardigan will be released on the last day of April. So April is a very busy month for me, but that happens usually. For example, at the moment, because of everything, like I said in the beginning of the video, that I feel like my head is so overwhelmed, so I haven't really done any pattern writing. And then when I finally get to the headspace that I start writing patterns, I write quite a lot of patterns at the same time, and that means that they are going for my deck editor at the same time, and the test knit starts at the same time, and also that the patterns are finished at the same time. So that's why I have everything happening in April, and I'm trying to make some smaller project at the moment so that I have something to offer you also in May. But yeah, I've started writing the sienna pattern. It's almost ready, but just can't find the headspace to finish it. And then there's the Murray pullover. I have made the one size, but I should grade it. And what else do I have? Oh yeah, I'll show you something new. This one, just finished this yesterday. So there's this like tank top, summer tank top, or a vest. You could also use it as a vest because there's the buttons. So I should write this pattern as well and send it off to my tech editor. I could talk about this next. This wasn't the next thing I was planning to talk about, but since I already have it in my hands, then why not? So this is knitted with Knitting for Olive's pure silk, and the colorway is called Cardamom. And I used the same yarn 2 years ago when I made the Roman holiday top. It was the white that has a V-neck both at the front and the back, and otherwise it's very simple, some garter stitch details on the sides. And it has been one of my favorite things to wear during summers. Usually when you have like knitted tops, I think they don't really keep their form very well. They start stretching and they're not that nice to wear. But the silk top that I made, it's been really great to wear, and because it's 100% silk, it doesn't feel hot when you wear it. So I wanted to make another silk top for myself, and I made this one. So it has buttons at the front, so you could also wear it as a vest with the buttons open, like I'm thinking about wearing it over a flowy summer dress. I think it would look really nice like that, or a white cotton shirt. I think it would look really nice. And then there's this pattern that looks like cables, but they're actually not cables, so it's a lace pattern that is created with just decreasing like 2 together or slip knit, and then yarn overs, and that's it. And there's I-cord at the edges of the armholes to keep the edges neat, and the bottom band is continued, and then I sewed it to the back. And I wish I knew how to do the Kitchener stitch over ripping. I don't know if it's even possible to make a really neat edge for the ripped part in a Kitchener stitch, because if this was neater, then this would be reversible. I think it would look really nice with the buttons in the back as well, but since it's not that neat, somebody suggested that I could put a button on top of the seam join, it's not a seam, join, to make it less visible, and then it would be reversible. I think it's a good idea. I should try it. But this is my new summer top, and I'm calling it Florence. And I should write the pattern. I promise I will do it very soon. Trying to do it next week and get it decorated so we can start test knitting, because so many of you have sent me messages about this summer top, and I think I already kind of have enough test knitters for it, judging by the number of messages you have sent me. I started another summer top yesterday. I haven't knitted more than the bottom ribbing and just 2 centimeters of stockinette stitch. And this is also the same silk yarn, just different color. This is the colorway copper. There. So this is a light fingering yarn, and I'm for both of these used the yarn held double, and for this one I'm using 3.5mm needles, and that's on 4mm needles. This one is going to be very simple, also a tank top, a sleeveless top, and it's going to have a split at the back, just like, let's pretend this is the back, so it's just like split here, and then a small button at the top to keep it open, so it has like a peephole at the back, and the front is going to be very, very simple, sleeveless, like a classic top, because I want something like that for myself. I want something to wear at the office during the summer, so it needs to be quite classy. And this is, like I said, this is also pure silk. This is not the nicest yarn to work with, to be honest. It's quite rough. It doesn't really, it's not stretchy at all. So it's quite hard yarn to knit, both like hard, not easy, and hard, not soft. So it's not the nicest yarn to work with, but because I know I'm going to love the result, I know I'm going to love wearing those tops when they are done, I can manage to knit with them. 2 years ago I made this top with linen yarn, and that was something that also it was really hard to work with. It was really rough on my hands, and I thought I would love wearing it, but also the finished fabric is really rough, so it kind of hurts my skin here at the underarm when the skin moves over the fabric. But the silk yarn is really, really nice, so I really recommend this yarn. And it's not that expensive either. I think Knitting for Olive has a really good like how the quality versus the price. In the previous episode I showed you I started knitting a sock with this is the walk collection tough sock in colorway Grunge, and I was making the like loose slouchy type of socks with a spiraling cable. And like I said, I wanted to create like a loose sock that isn't loose but looks very loose. And when I tried them on, they were so tight because of the running cable that I couldn't almost put my feet through them. So I ripped them back, and then I started with a small cable pattern. But because the yarn is so busy, you can't really see it. So I discarded that as well, and now I don't know what I'm going to make with this yarn. So took the needles off and cast it on for something else. I'll show you. This is the project that has kind of brought me back the joy of knitting and brought my knitting mojo back. I casted this on yesterday and I can't put it down. It's all the time I want to make one more round. Do you recognize the pattern? So I'm making poet socks, and when I made the poet pullover 2.5 years ago, I really loved knitting it, and after that last year I made the poetry pullover, and I loved knitting the poetry pullover as well. I usually don't like repeating same patterns all over again, and now that I started the poet socks, I remembered how much I love the poet stitch pattern. It's so fun to make, and I still, after all this time, I still think it's one of the prettiest stitch patterns there are. So these are the poet socks, and I don't know how many times I've already said to my husband that these are going to be the prettiest socks ever, and I'm going to say it one more time, but I still think these are going to be the prettiest socks ever. These are so pretty, and I can't put them down. Like I said, I started this yesterday, and I just have to knit. I have to knit one more row all the time, and now I have made the heel flap and I've turned the heel, so I'm ready to pick up for the gusset and then continue with the foot. So it's so nice. I absolutely love this, and this is the first knitted project in a few weeks that has really brought me joy, and as you can see, I'm smiling when I'm talking about it. It's making me so happy. I'm using, sorry, the skein is horrible, but this is Wool Me Once finished dyer. It's the same dyer that I used for the Laura socks, and it's a merino sock, and the colorway is Aslan, and this is the same colorway that I used for the second hour pullover. If you remember, I had the copper colored hour pullover, so this is the same colorway, and it's also the same colorway that I showed you in the previous episode. This was the Finnish wool rukki yarn from the same dyer, and this is going to be a poet shawl. So I've been making swatches, and I have a sample knitter who also made the unfolding shawl for the Making Stories number 3, so I'm using the same sample knitter for the poet shawl. I'm really happy about and really excited about the project as well. But I'm not really myself, I'm not a shawl knitter, so I decided to use a sample knitter for that one. But the poet socks, aren't they just the prettiest? I may be partial, but I can't even tell you how happy these make me. It's just like so super happy about this, and I can't wait to share the pattern with you. I think I'll finish the first sock, and then I'll have to call for test knitters, and then I'll finish the second sock, so we can get the pattern out as soon as possible, because this is something that I want to share with you. They are so pretty, and I've been tweaking the because the poet stitch pattern is 20 stitches wide, so for a adult size sock there are only 3 pattern repeats for one sock. So I've been tweaking the poet pattern for a smaller version. So the original pattern is 20 stitches wide, so I've been tweaking it so that I get a 10 stitch wide similar poet pattern. And I was thinking about making socks with that one as well, so it has a smaller pattern repeat, so instead of just 3 pattern repeats over the leg, there's going to be 6 pattern repeats, and this yarn from my stash. This is like this beautiful storm grey, graphite grey yarn from Finnish dyer called Aara, and this is the mieli base, and the colorway is called luja, which means strong in Finnish, and I think it's a very good name for this. It's kind of like this steel grey colored yarn, so I'm using this for the mini poet version socks. I think I said in my previous episode that it's usually a sign of summer when I start to make socks, and again it's end of March and I'm knitting socks, so the summer is definitely coming. I have shown you everything that I have here with me except for new Novita magazine. So this is the summer issue of Novita magazine, and you can find it in the shops in Finland, and the Swedish version is coming very soon. And the next Novita magazine, the autumn magazine, is coming I think it's mid July, at the end of July, something like 20th, usually comes around that time, 20th of July. And when the new magazine comes out, all the patterns from the previous magazine come freely available on the Novita Knits website. So now that this magazine came out, like I said, all the patterns in the spring magazine are freely available in Finnish on Novita Knits website, and I think over half of them are in English. All my patterns in this magazine are now available in English, freely available on Novita Knits magazine. And I'll show you what my patterns are in this one. I have two different themes, and I'll show you the second theme first. It's called Nordic Midsummer, and I actually made all these patterns already a year ago, so they were the photos were taken last August, because we wanted to have the summer nature, Finnish summer nature in these photos. So there are these fingering weight socks with folded cuffs that have this lace detail, and then there's this very simple seed stitch pullover. So this is a simple pullover, easy pattern if you want something mindless. And lace cardigan, and this bag, simple bag. Also, this is one of my favorites. It's called kukkaketo or meadows. So it has this like forget-me-not flowers over the pullover, and here's a summer top that's also reversible, so it has a V-neck on both sides. I'll show it to you soon, so that it's worn the other way around. Here's a long dress and a two-color lace shawl. This is also one of my favorites. It has a really nice lace detail here at the bottom. And then there's the blanket. It's called iltauinti, which means an evening swim, night dip. And I was thinking about the Finnish summer and when you go to your summer cottage and you go for an evening swim, and then you sit at the front of your sauna, and you can wrap yourself in a blanket. So that was the story behind the pattern. top we had the reversible. It's not in this magazine, but I will add the extra photo of the reversible top here over this video, so you can see how it looks when it's worn the other way around, like with the buttons at the front. And then the second thing that I had in this magazine is like a modern sailor theme, and we were thinking about kind of like the 60s pinup style, and Brigitte Bardot, and like sailor stripes, and wanted to create something like that. So I have made this very classic V-neck pullover. It has an alternating cable stripe. You can't really see it in this picture, but I'll try to post a close-up. And then there's another stripe with like this seed stitch squares. Looks like this one. And then there's very simple, a beginner-friendly shawl. And this is, I think I showed this photo to you in my previous episode. So there's the Brigitte Bardot of the shoulder stripe top, and cotton shorts that are high-waisted hot pants. And then there's a very basic cardigan. This is something that I'm going to cast on for myself very soon. I just ordered some Novita Nordic wool in the black colorway, and I'm going to make this one for myself. And then every sailor needs anchor socks, and this is a crescent-shaped shawl with a lace and a bubble detail and a bubble bind off. So this is my first crescent-shaped shawl that I have made, and those are the patterns that I have in this new magazine. And something else I want to show you. This is not my design, but there's my son. He's modeling in this magazine. So this is my son Theo. He's 4 years old. 4 years old, like I said. He's modeling in the new magazine. Yeah. And now, lastly, here is the moment that you have all been waiting for. I will announce the giveaway winner. And I kind of jumped the gun with the giveaway. You had to tell me your favorite design from the new magazine, but the patterns hadn't come out on Ravelry. I posted the new episode online on Monday, and the patterns came live only on Wednesday. But I used a random number generator to pick the winner. So that even though you didn't know your favorite design yet, you still had a chance to win, because I think that was only fair. And so I copied all the comments and pasted them in an Excel file, and then I used Google's a random number generator and picked a comment that got the same number. And I was really happy to realize who the winner is. It's Talia in Love. She also started her own podcast about a month ago or 2 months ago, something like that, but quite recently. So check that out as well. And she has been testing almost all of my designs for the past year, 2 years. So I was really happy to notice that she is the winner. So, you know, you know my email address. Send me your home address and I will send you the Making Stories magazine. And also I got this Finnish chocolate, and I'll send this one for you as well. So this little packet is coming your way very soon. But that's everything I have for today, and I will start the Celeste knit along next week, and I will try to film a new video next weekend, or maybe earlier if I get the chance to talk about knit along. And like I said, you get a 10% discount from Mayak for the yarn using the code Celeste10, and all my self-published patterns are minus 20% at the moment, so check that out as well. And thanks for watching once again. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel so you will always get notified when a new video comes out. And that's everything for today. Bye!